Holidays Booktube. I am so excited for this day, and I think I've waited long enough that I don't even want to bother with introductions anymore. But also because there are lots of books to unbox. I cannot remember very well if it's 17 or 18 books in total. I don't want to make this video very long, so let me just do a quick few disclaimers before we start opening these babies up. Number one, I have never been into an actual Big Bad Wolf haul physically or on the actual book fair, so this is actually my very first Big Bad Wolf haul experience. I know they've been around for quite a long time. I know they've been visiting the Philippines probably since 2017 or 2018, so they've been coming here for a few years already. Ever since I came back from my reading slump though, I've been watching and browsing a lot of book haul videos or people blogging about their experience at going to the Big Bad Wolf Hall Fair. And I remember telling myself that if they would ever come back next year, I would do my best to be there. And then lo and behold, on one casual day, as I was browsing through my Twitter timeline, just minding my own business, I happened to come across a tweet from the Lazada official app announcing that someone or something is coming to join the Lazada app. I think the end of October or the end of November, I cannot remember anymore. At that point, I have already watched enough Big Bad Wolf haul vlogs and videos for me to be familiar with the Big Bad Wolf logo. So, I click on that tweet, and true enough, the Filipino bookworms are right under in the comments, going wild and panicking, expressing their excitement over the fact that Big Bad Wolf is now available on Lazada. Honestly though, I have only ever really used Shopee. So, as a matter of fact, I have installed the Lazada app on my phone for the sole purpose of taking part in the Big Bad Wolf haul fuzz. So there I was, just scrolling through their catalog of available titles, and I thought, let me go ahead and give that a try. Let me order one book. So I went ahead and purchased one book. And then I remembered it was delivered so fast. I was so shook because I think I placed it order the afternoon, and then immediately the following morning it got delivered to me, which was wild. So I thought, why don't I give it another try, right? So I ordered another one. At that point, I was just so enjoying the fact that it always gets delivered the following day whenever I check something out. So I, at that point, was already trigger happy. So I thought, you know what? Let me go order two more. Before I knew it, it was already the 12/12 sale. And I just really had to check out 12 or 13 books. I honestly have no excuse anymore because right after I placed this order, I thought that I would finally stop because I think I already have had enough, right? But I scrolled more and I found just one more book that I wanted to really purchase so bad, so I had to go ahead and place an order for it. So this is why I have a separate package right here, which is so funny to me because this is only one book. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why they have it on a box right here, but yeah, it's only just one book. So I told myself, this really has to stop, alright? So I had to film this video already for me to be able to stop myself from ordering any further. Last disclaimer before we go ahead and finally open them. I promise this is gonna be the last disclaimer. I really suck at explaining plot or synopsis when it comes to books. Now, as much as I enjoy watching book haul unboxing videos for the sheer joy of watching bookworms getting the books that they want, and also the joy of discovering new books for myself, one thing that I find really challenging is whenever they get into so much detail talking about what the book plot is all about, because sometimes they get so excited that they talk about pretty much half of the summary of the entire novel. So that's one thing that I am very afraid of doing. I want you guys to know why I bought the books, but I also don't want to spoil you. And for myself, since I'm documenting this for myself in the future, in case I want to reread some of these books again, I don't want to remember the details of the plot as much as I can, because I've always loved diving into a book blindly to know as little details as much as possible. So for that purpose, what I did was to write down the selling point of each book, or I wrote down some notes on what made me buy them as I was scrolling through the Lazada app, so that I could have some points to share with you on what they're all about without really talking about the entire summary, because I have a lot of books to discuss here and I really don't want this video to take too long. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you the book titles and flash somewhere here the reason why I bought them, so that I could still give you a glimpse of what made the book so interesting to me, but at the same time not spoil you. So I thought it's gonna be a win-win situation, right? Right, so let's go ahead and start opening my Big Bad Wolf haul. Right, so the first one is History of Wolves by Emily Fridland. Let me go ahead and search what it's all about. I do a really good job forgetting or discarding the memory of what the plot is about once I check them out. So, History of Wolves. Alright, so I'm gonna flash it here, but yeah, what I've taken note of is small town, isolated childhood in a nearly abandoned commune, school outcasts, and pedophilia. From what I know, this has also been shortlisted for the Booker Prize Award, and I always have a thing for books that are award-winning or nominated for good awards, because it tells me that they are really well written. Also because, honestly, this has been recommended by Amy Bender, which is one of the writers I really like. Amy Bender has sent me a copy of her book, The Particular Sadness of Lemon Cake. I'm gonna flash it somewhere here. But yeah, one thing that really gets to me, or one thing that really sells a book to me, is whenever a writer that I love is pitching the book as something great to read. So I had to get this one up. Second package. Right, so this is fairy tales, stories of the grim and gruesome. The only thing that I have written on here is a macabre retelling of fairy tales. So that's why it's entitled like this. Instead of fairy, it's fury, which I guess is a pun. Yeah, so it says here stories of the grim and gruesome. Yeah, I kind of remember that several of grim fairy tales have been rewritten for this collection. So, of course, since I'm a sucker for short stories, I won't pass on this especially because it features Neil Gaiman, which is one of my all-time favorite authors, and also Joanne Harris. I have read several Joanne Harris books. I own two copies of her books, and she also does creepy very well. She's also very great in writing, kind of morbid. I just remember that she has a thing for astrology. She really likes to center her stories on that. So, wow, there are a lot of writers featured on this collection. So, yep, moving on to the third package. This is actually two books from what I could remember. But, yeah. Right, so this one first. Sarah Pinborough. This is amazing because my brother and I just watched Behind Her Eyes on Netflix last night, and I do believe she's the author of that, and that one has a really mind-bending twist. So I have really high hopes suddenly for this author, but yeah, this is a very thin book, but it's hardcover, which is interesting. And also because it has a blurb by Neil Gaiman, which says, "A beautiful story honestly told." Let me check why exactly I picked this one up. This is The Language of Dying, by the way. That's the title. So what I've taken note of here is a woman counting down to her father's death, cancer, and siblings and family. If Neil Gaiman has reviewed this book, and also from what I have seen Behind Her Eyes last night, I do think this is a writer who is into horror, the horror genre, and also the title and the cover gives me that vibe. So the things I've written though are quite leaning into dramatic contemporary, but we don't know. It says here, a literary punch to the gut. A beautiful novel, short, sharp, and told with painful honesty, which I would say is the product of a writer at the very top of her game. So, yeah, this is a very quick read, which excites me, of course. Yeah, The Language of Dying. And then we have The Lone, by Andrew Michael Hurley. That's the name of the author. And it says here it's the winner of the Costa First Novel Award. And I remember what really piqued my interest was it has a blurb or a compliment from Stephen King, which says, "It's not just good, it's great. An amazing piece of fiction." But let me go ahead and check what exactly I've written down. Remains of a child found in a winter storm, and devout Catholicism. I'm not sure exactly how that connects to each other, but I just remember that I want to list down things about the book that wouldn't spoil the plot. So forgive me if the things that I've written down doesn't make any sense. You can check it out on Goodreads if you want, but yeah, I want it to be spoiler free as much as possible, and that's the only thing I have written down. But yeah, I think this is also something creepy, as the book cover suggests. The two of them looks really alike. That's probably why I ordered them together. Right, so let's move on to the big one. This is the very big box. I've never really ordered something that has this much books, so I am quite excited. But I think what I'm gonna do is I am going to just pick one book at a time to sort of surprise myself, and then I'm gonna talk about them. So it's just like buying gifts for myself, even though I know what these books are, but at this point I have really already forgotten what they are really, so I'm also seeing them for the first time. So let's go ahead and open it. I don't want to spoil myself as much as possible. That's why I was not looking at what's the content of the box are. So let me just go ahead and randomly pick one book at a time, and then I'll talk about them. Alright, so Isabel Allende, In the Midst of Winter. And then it says here, every friendship leaves a trace. I had been hearing things about this author, but this is, yeah, the first time that I'm going to be reading her. The notes here, In the Midst of Winter. Present day Brooklyn in 1970s Brazil and Chile. So I think we're gonna have two timelines in here, one past and one present. And then a friendship and love story between three people right after a minor traffic accident and a snowstorm. And then human rights of undocumented immigrants and refugees. I remember that the page has a pretty lengthy summary that has a lot of plot spoilers. So that's about the most spoiler free that I could ever make it. But yeah, Isabel Allende. Right, so let's pick another one. Frankie by Siobhan Plaza. Now this I remember buying because frankly I don't even know if this makes sense. This is endorsed or promoted by Melina Marcheta, which is an author that I haven't even read yet. I bought Melina Marcheta's Jellicoe Road earlier this year, a few months ago, but I haven't really read that yet, but it's highly praised by pretty much everyone who has ever read it, and I think it's also award-winning. So if Melina Marcheta is endorsing for this book, then that means it must be good, right? Searching for the truth, finding yourself, and falling in love. That's actually pretty generic, yeah? That's pretty generic. But I think the reason why I do this, or why I put as vague notes as possible when I do that, that means that the summary provided on the page, or probably even on Goodreads, spoils the entire thing. So I try to remove it, discard it from my memory as much as possible, so that I won't have expectations about this book. It's enough for me that Melina Marchetta promotes this, so I think this is gonna be a very character-driven novel, and that's enough. I'll read it. Right, so next book. Go As Fanny Farmer by Elizabeth Hyde. Elizabeth Hyde is also an author that I keep hearing things about. But yeah. Adult siblings coming home for a weekend, mother's accident, family recipes, and secrets. That makes it sound very creepy. But I don't think it's gonna be a dark novel. Do you see the cover? Yeah. But yeah, I do think it's only gonna be an adult contemporary drama, from what I vaguely remember about the synopsis. But yeah, I don't think this is gonna be dark. Let's hope it not gets to that. But yeah, I'm in for a surprise if ever. I picked this up because it has family elements on it, and family elements always interest me, so for sure. Get in Trouble by Kelly Link. This is also a collection of short stories. Short stories always a win for me. Yeah, but it's a collection of 9 adult fiction of fantastical tales, and this is a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize. So, from what I know, Kelly Link is also an author highly praised by Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman says that she's a national treasure. So, it's award-winning, it's short stories, and a lot of writers seem to look up to her. So, yeah, I'm excited. This is really like opening gifts from Santa, to be honest. Our Kind of Cruelty by Araminta Hall. So I think this one is pretty obvious. This is gonna be a thriller. Twisted tale about desire and obsession. So this is gonna be a domestic thriller. And I remember telling myself, no wonder that this has been promoted and endorsed by one of the really great domestic crime writers, psychological thriller writers of our time, which is Gillian Flynn. She's the author of Gone Girl, but the very first book that I read from Gillian Flynn is actually Dark Places, before I ever read Gone Girl. So, domestic thriller about desire and obsession. So, I'm very curious. What is this for? Orhan Pamuk, which is The Redhaired Woman. That's the title of the book. What I clearly remember is that this is not exactly the title that I wanted to buy for this author, but that title is not available on Lazada or on the Big Bad Wolf page. He's the writer of Snow, and that's the one I originally wanted to get. So it's enough for me that I see an available book by him, so at least I can understand why one of my favorite booktubers likes him a lot. So, The Red-Haired Woman, set in the outskirts of Istanbul. A fable of fathers and sons. a red-headed enchantress from a traveling theater company. I think this is going to be the kind of book which is really atmospheric and has a very rich storytelling. So that at least I'm very excited about. So ooh, Asking for It by Louise O'Neill. This is won the Prince Honor Book, which is one of the most prestigious awards that a YA novel or a YA book can get. So that's saying a lot about it. Right, so it says here it's a contemporary YA about rape culture, and it also includes elements of public or social media shaming. That's what it wanted to discuss on the plot. I think the summary that I saw online is also pretty detailed. It's also quite lengthy, so that's why I have digested it to only those two notes. But yeah, rape culture and social media shaming, which I think are very relevant and very important topics that we should talk about. So yeah, Asking for It. Title is also very provocative, right? This is really fun. I'm enjoying this a lot. Okay. This looks so pretty. Eat the sky, drink the ocean, stories of imagination and daring. Oh. And look at the back. It's a short story collection, so as always, feminist speculative fiction collection, and it's a pair-up collaboration between Indian and Australian writers. I'm so interested. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to read this. It has a lot of authors right here. They're indicated like their constellations, but yeah, it's short stories written in collaboration, so that makes it twice as exciting, right? And even more so because the themes or the concept of this is feminist speculative fiction. So I wonder what that is all about, really. Yeah, eat the sky, drink the ocean. This video is gonna be so long, but you know, I'm so sorry. I just enjoy my books a lot. 100 Flowers by Gail Chukiyama. This has been promoted by Lisa C, which is also one Asian author that I also enjoy and look up to. And from what I can see here, it's about coming of age historical fiction set in China in 1957. And I know that this is a very significant part of their history because it's during the Chinese Cultural Revolution. So I do think this is going to be a coming of age and a family story. Right. And this author has also won several awards for his previous works, so really excited for this one too. This is something that I really squealed when I saw it on the Big Bad Wolf page, because I've been wanting this book for so long. So imagine how thrilled I was to find that it's available. I don't think it's available on a lot of our local bookstores, and if it's ever on other sellers, it's very expensive. So I only bought this for $190, so that's definitely a steal. Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury, which is of course of the Fahrenheit 451 fame. The only thing I've written on here is a dark carnival arrives in town. So I think the summary that's indicated on the page is either really very vague. That's the only thing that's the only thing I could write, or the synopsis is pretty spoilery. So be warned. But yeah, I've seen a couple of good reviews about this. So also I think Ray Bradbury is an author that's very much a pioneer in his genre. So I'm excited. Ursula Le Guin, Tales from the Earthsea, another one of the greats, right? Ursula Le Guin has always been an author that I've heard praises about every now and then, so I'm glad that I finally have a copy of her work on here. Alright, it's a collection of fantasy stories and essays. Oh, alright. Oh, this also has a blurb by Neil Gaiman. The magic of Earthsea remains as potent, as wise, and as necessary as anyone could dream. So I think this is also in the genre of horror and fantasy, sci-fi. I'm not sure, but yeah, Ursula Le Guin is a writer that a lot of writers look up to. So I definitely want to see and find out why. We're almost done. I think we only have a couple of books here, but let's see. Oh my. This is quite a heavy book. I didn't expect it to be this big. Oh, alright. Because I think it's a graphic novel. Yeah, I think it's a comics book. Yeah. But anyway, it's original fake, which actually that title is so interesting to me. That's why I looked it up, and yeah, I believe this is a graphic novel book. Where's the author though? Oh, Kristen Cron Mills, and art by Eero Johnson. Introvert in an eccentric family. An encounter that will blend and blur art and real life. Those are the only things. I also remember a very detailed description of each of the family members. That's why I didn't write them at all. But yeah, the vibes that I'm getting here, I don't know if you know this movie, but the Royal Tenenbaums, that's the energy radiating from this book. So I'm not sure how accurately I am predicting it, but yeah, it's a graphic novel, and I got this for what, $230? Unbelievable. We only have 2 books left, and they're pretty big books, so let's go for this one. Oh, alright. Emma Donoghue, which is of course popular for her novel Room. But even before reading Room, the first that I've actually read of Emma Donoghue is Slammerkin. I have 3 books from her. Room, of course, and then Slammerkin. Alright, they're not showing, but I have a copy of Slammerkin and Life Mask. Those 2 books are set in Victorian London, I think in the 18th, 17th century. I have forgotten. But yeah, I really love it whenever Emma writes historical fiction. She really has a knack for writing historical fiction. So this one though is in a different time setting. Frog Music is the title, and the cover is really pretty. Look, yeah, historical fiction and true crime. So yes, it's historical fiction, and it's true crime, summer of 1876 in San Francisco, California. So this is quite thick. But then again, I think she really has a thing for writing really lengthy books, which I don't mind because her writing is beautiful. So yeah, we're down to our final book, and I think this is the thickest one out of all the items on here. Alright, These Shallow Graves by Jennifer Donnelly. And I think I talked about Jennifer Donnelly once in my previous videos, how she's one of my all-time favorite writers. And this is a book that I haven't read yet from her. I have 3 books, I have a copy of 3 books from her. I have The Tea Rose, I have Revolution, and I have owned several copies of A Northern Light. So this is gonna be my 4th book from Jennifer Donnelly. First hardback edition, and I think this is also one of her highly praised works. So wow, this is a really big book. It's a doorstopper novel, so I'm excited. Historical fiction set in 1980s New York. A girl from a very wealthy family who aspires to be an investigative journalist, and it also has elements of romance. Okay. I'm mad excited about this book. I hope this video is not an hour long. I really hope not. But yeah, we're done with the big box. We only have this one left, which is the very last one that I have ordered, and you would understand why I really had to. Why I really have to get this. So let's just open it. Right, so it's another Emma Donoghue novel, of course. It's always hard to resist your favorite writers, right? So, yeah. So this is actually the title that I wanted to buy from her. Frog Music, which I talked about earlier. I actually do not know of that book. This one is the one I'm really searching for. But I saw it very late. Right after I checked out that massive box. That's the only time that I saw this title. So of course I have to belatedly place an order for it. But yeah, this is also, I think, a historical fiction book. It's set in the Irish Midlands in 1859. It's about a journalist visiting town and a media sensation of a girl who survives despite not eating for months. So that's a pretty common plot. I mean, a journalist coming to a small town is pretty much the synopsis of a lot of crime or horror thrillers. But you can always rely on Emma Donoghue to write about something very unique. So yeah, this is about a girl who does not eat. So I really just had to get my hands on this. And that's it. I really want to carry all of the books with me, but there's a lot of them that I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna go fall down. So I'd really rather not. I'm just gonna do an overlay somewhere. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this video. I'm pretty sure this is ridiculously long, but thank you so much for watching all the way until the end if you did. Yeah, I hope you also have great books for the month of December, and this is me trying to really congratulate myself for getting back to reading for this year. So I'm so excited. This has been a really great Big Bad Wolf haul experience. My very first ever. So, I'm just so excited and happy. How's your reading going on so far for the month of December? Are you busy because of the holidays? What are your plans for 2022? I hope everything has been well, and I hope you have a safe, healthy, and happy December, and of course, as always, a great month for reading. Thank you so much for watching this video, and see you on my next one. Happy holidays!